Hey guys, it's Brigitte with San Diego Seed Company, and I'm sure you guys have had the question, which tray do I use? Which pot do I use? What even is a tray? What's a plug tray? What's an insert? I know it's confusing, but today I'm gonna break it all down for you so that you know what supplies to buy. Don't waste money on supplies you don't need, and make sure that you get the most out of your garden. So stay tuned, hit the subscribe button if you love the content, and let's get into it. Okay, so I get the question all the time. Hey, what size tray do I need? Do I need 32 cells, 50 cells, 120 cells? There's a lot of different trays on the market and things that you can pot into, and I want to break it down for you so that you can make really good educated decisions when you buy your seed starting supplies, because number one, they can get expensive, and I'm gonna give you some tips on how to buy a tray that you can use for multiple things, so you're not stuck just using one tray for one specific item. So I'm gonna kind of go down the line here, and one thing that you can do is just reuse 6-packs. People do this all the time. The nice thing about reusing 6-packs is if you're an avid gardener, you probably have some laying around. The downside of using these is that, look at them, they fall apart, you get lots of plastic trash. Depending on what they're made out of, they may or may not be recyclable, and you'll notice there's wasted space. If you're a grower in a small space, you want to utilize every single inch, and this is just not doing it. So that's kind of the downside of using something like that. And you'll notice, so we have, this is often called an insert, or a 6-pack, and then I have this tray on the bottom. Why? This tray is to capture water that seeps through any of my plug trays or 6-packs in here, and it's also used for bottom watering, which I really highly suggest if you have issues with mold, disease issues in your greenhouse, or if you're starting seed in a really hot area that you can't keep watered all the time. By having a quality tray on the bottom, you can ensure there's water sitting in there so that these always have moisture that they can access. A word of warning though, don't leave the water sitting in there too long so it gets stagnant and gross. That's not going to be good for your starts. But this is what we call a bottom watering tray. We've been using them on our farm for last 4 or 5 years. Love them. It makes all the difference for us. Okay, so this is the most economical, cheapest option. You just recycle some plastic that you have lying around. There's severe limitations with that particular method. Moving on down, we've got this really awesome quality product here. This is from Bootstrap Farmer, and this tray, I'll show you here, has 32 cells. This is what we call a cell. Sometimes they're called a plug, but basically it's an area that you can either put a little pot, or you can put soil directly in there and you can plant in them. So you can tell that these small pots here give you extra space so that if you have a long-rooted plant or something that needs a lot of space, like a tomato, these are sages, they need something a little bit bigger, but you can plant directly in here. So this is 32 cell tray, okay? Means you have 32 spots to grow in. Now, in our experience on our farm, we do mostly vegetable and flower production. 32 cells is just about perfect, and I'll show you why. Over here, we have 50 cells, so you can see that there's much more, there's many more cells in here. There's 50 in this tray, and they're a lot smaller, which means there's a lot less root space for those plants to grow. You can actually see the roots growing through here, and this is lettuce, okay? It's not a big crop, but it's already going through this plastic tray. Why would you want more plugs in your tray? Well, if you're doing small seeded crops like lettuce or onions or things that don't need a lot of space, you can use 50 cell trays and you'll get 50 plants or more out of your tray. But here's the downside. If you plant things like this where they're too close together, and you can see the roots are already coming through, I have to pot those up into something bigger for them to be happy. So it's a lot of extra work. On the flip side, you have something with less cells, more room. That means your plants can live in there longer. That's one of the reasons why we prefer the 32 over the 50. Now, here's another 50-inch tray, and these are pretty poor quality trays. You can see that as I lift them, they crack. These are only 2 years old. They've melted a little bit in the greenhouse. They're practically meant to be disposable. And Although the price point is cheaper on these, I don't want to buy trays every single year, and I don't want all this plastic trash lying around. So these are not economical for us. And the bottom trays also are a lot more shallow, and look at this quality. So if you want to use recycled plastic trays that are high quality, they're going to last you for several years, it's a good investment for your garden or your farm, this is the product for you. Luckily, we've got a link in our description. This is the 32 cell tray from Bootstrap Farmer, and if you click on that link, it'll take you straight to the product, and you can find exactly what I have here, and you can try it out yourself. I promise you're not going to be disappointed.